Developing tonight at 11, police search the home of a missing teacher. Her husband, a person of interest, leaves the scene with investigators. All new tonight, we're talking with his father. Our live team coverage continues.
You know, the support of the community has been tremendous.
The survivors of our nation's deadliest bike crash lead hundreds of cyclists on the same route 1 year later, finishing the ride cut short by tragedy.
And the Griffins crunched in Cuse, their first loss of the Calder Cup Finals. We'll take you live to the arena to show you every goal. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marley Ginter.
And I'm Brian Sterling. News 8 at 11 starts now.
From Wood TV, this is 24-hour News 8.
Right now at 11 o'clock, Portage police remain at the home of a missing teacher 7 hours after they first arrived to execute a search warrant. Drone 8 giving us a bird's eye view tonight. The home surrounded with crime tape. The state police crime lab parked in the driveway.
Tomorrow will mark 3 weeks since anyone has seen Teresa Lockhart. Just before 7 o'clock tonight, our cameras were rolling as Christopher Lockhart got into an unmarked police car and left the scene. He has been named a person of interest, but as police drove him away tonight, he was in the front seat and he was not wearing handcuffs. We've been checking. He has not been booked into the jail.
We were the first to break this story on 24-hour News 8 at 5. We have been on the scene ever since. New tonight, Ken Kolker is talking with Christopher Lockhart's father about tonight's developments. An interview you'll only see on 8. Ken.
We spoke to Christopher Lockhart's father by phone from his home in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, even as police were searching his son's home 850 miles away. Is he capable of this?
No.
Lockhart's father, Harry Lockhart, is convinced his daughter-in-law took off on her own over trouble with her teaching job.
She was about to be fired, from the school.
What kind of guy is your son?
Nice guy.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm a father. I'm gonna say that, and I actually believe it.
He love his wife?
Yes. He's worried to death right now.
But now the police seem to be focusing on him.
Well, yeah, it's like any other case where a woman goes missing or something like that. Who do they look at first? The boyfriend, the husband? That's only natural.
What you're saying is they're looking in the wrong direction.
Well, I think there's a lot more to it than you're seeing or hearing or anything like that.
He says he's been talking regularly to his son by phone since the disappearance. What has your son said to you about this?
He's devastated. He can't believe it.
Can't believe she's missing, or can't believe the police
Can't believe she's missing, yeah, just up and walked out the door.
He says he spoke often with his daughter-in-law before she disappeared.
She's mild, meek, soft-spoken. She holds a lot in, stuff like that.
He was not surprised by today's search. Neither, he says, was his son.
He was waiting for that to happen anyway.
He also says there's a reason his son is not cooperating with police.
All they're going to do is browbeat him, question the same. So he said, I had to get a lawyer, to keep everything on track.
So you think when this is all said and done, she's going to turn up somewhere and
I think she will.
Now, 24 News 8's Lindsay McComas spoke with Christopher over the phone this past weekend. Now, he told her he believes that Teresa might have left to get mental help. Christopher has not responded to our requests for comment this evening. Live in Portage, Ken Kolker, 24-hour News 8.
Certainly a different perspective from Christopher Lockhart's father. Ken, thank you for that live report. And Brady Gillum has been on the scene since this story broke late this afternoon.
Brady, what have you seen police doing tonight?
Well, police have been searching the Lockhart home for upwards of 7 hours, but we still don't know if they've recovered any evidence that would help solve the mystery of Teresa Lockhart's disappearance. Nearly 3 weeks after Teresa Lockhart went missing, police descend on the Lockhart home. Neighbors say police officers, members of the SWAT team, and a canine unit were all there when officers arrived to serve the warrant. Tonight, Senior Deputy Chief John Blue with the Portage Department of Public Safety issuing a short statement confirming officers executed a search warrant, saying the warrant is part of the continuing investigation into the disappearance of Mrs. Lockhart.
Well, it's been, 20 days, and they're just now searching his home.
A neighbor says Christopher Lockhart was getting ready to drive away from the home around 4 p.m., then saw police cars arrive and tried to pull back into his garage. Later, Christopher Lockhart could be seen standing across the street from his house as officers searched his home. About 2 hours later, Lockhart left the scene in the front seat of an unmarked police car. He was not in handcuffs. The deputy police chief had told us earlier that no one was in custody. The street was blocked off by police tape, as was the Lockhart home. Multiple police vehicles, including at least one armed vehicle and a Michigan State Police mobile crime lab, arrived on scene. Some neighbors think all of this could have been avoided if Lockhart had agreed to let police search his home in the first place.
You know, if he has nothing to hide, he should have let him in the first day.
Now, the big question now is where Christopher Lockhart went with those officers. Police haven't provided any new updates since they confirmed that they were searching his home. Reporting live in Portage, Brady Gillum, 24-hour News 8.
Certainly, it all still remains a mystery tonight. Brady, thank you for that live report. Police named Christopher Lockhart a person of interest in this case last week, but it took them 5 days to get a search warrant to get into his home. So we talked with a law expert about why it may have taken so long. He says investigators want to make sure they don't make mistakes and hurt a potential court case down the road.
They have a motive to exercise these warrants with care because it could result in incriminating evidence being excluded from trial, and they lose the case because of their mistake.
As we've reported, tomorrow will mark 3 weeks since Teresa Lockhart was last seen. At 5 o'clock on Thursday, May 18th, she left the Family Fitness Gym in Portage. The school superintendent where she works in Schoolcraft reported her missing Saturday, May 20th. That same day, police found her car at the Park and Ride near US 131 and Center Avenue. You can see where those locations relate to each other and to the Lockhart's home on Poplar Bluff Court. Our team continuing to stay in touch with investigators on this one. Family and friends of the Lockharts are also in touch. Our Daybreak crew is already headed to the scene tonight. Watch Daybreak starting at 4:30 for live updates.
A somber evening in Kalamazoo. Today marks 1 year since 5 people were hit and killed while riding their bikes just north of the city. 24-hour News 8's Sarah Hurwitz is at that crash site to show us how the victims and survivors were honored on this emotional night. Sarah?
Well, Marley, it was a busy evening across Kalamazoo tonight as hundreds of cyclists rode in solidarity for those who were killed a year ago. And it was also a night of faith for many who took part in that mass. But for the survivors who I spoke with today, finishing that ride wasn't just for the community, but it was also for the 5 who died here alongside the road. A sea of red with the survivors leading the pack, finishing what they started a year ago.
I think when we go by the crash site, it's going to be emotional thinking about who we lost.
It was these 5 who they lost on a 28-mile ride, a day they don't remember much of when a pickup truck hit the group of 9.
I remember conversations. I remember people in the back, further back, yelling "car back," saying, and I don't know if it was in relation to the pickup truck or something different. But, so I've got a pretty strong memory right up to the time of the accident, and after that I don't remember anything.
It's a community that's put the gears in motion to support each other. The hundreds of brothers and sisters out tonight indicative of that continued effort, like this woman who was recently hit by a car and had an emotional finish.
I'm still trying to get over my accident and the people that lost their lives and the people that survived. We know them, and it's hard.
You know, the support of the community has been tremendous.
Yeah, it's been overwhelming.
But tonight was also to remember the first responders who worked tirelessly to save lives in the midst of the tragedy.
They did such a phenomenal job that night. I can't even imagine a different situation, so we're so grateful.
There's a lot of good has come out of what we've been through and the way we've gone through it.
as faith is not lost on the Kalamazoo community who filled St. Thomas More Catholic Church tonight, healing from last year's tragedy. And these 5 ghost bikes that sit here as a memorial here at the crash site, but there also is another memorial that is in the works, we're told, just down the road at Mark and Glen Park. Reporting live in Kalamazoo tonight, Sarah Hurwitz, 24-Hour News 8.
No doubt they're getting still a lot of support. Sarah, thank you for that report. And the man driving the pickup truck accused of causing that deadly crash will stand trial on murder charges. Charles Pickett Jr. is charged with 5 counts of second-degree murder, 4 counts of reckless driving, and 5 counts of driving while intoxicated, causing death. Police say he took muscle relaxers and pain pills before the crash. Pickett's planning to plead insanity.
2 people are facing charges in connection with a Grand Rapids shooting. 48-year-old Eric Henriquez is expected to be arraigned on assault with intent to murder and firearm charges. 34-year-old Rhiannon Henriquez will be charged with assault with a dangerous weapon. Investigators say a 45-year-old relative was shot on Ballard Street near Eastern last night. That victim remains hospitalized. His condition has stabilized. Oh, the Griffins had a chance to get closer to the Cup, but it was a tough night in Syracuse. Highlights and live post-game reaction coming up.
Plus, fired FBI Director James Comey getting ready to testify tomorrow morning. Hear what your lawmakers are saying about it coming up.
We got another partly to mostly sunny day coming up for you tomorrow. We'll stay dry with relatively light winds. Look for temperatures in the low to mid 50s at daybreak with readings all the way back up to the mid 70s by the time we reach the noon hour. Coming up, I'll show you 90-degree temperatures in the Storm Team 8-day forecast.